Hey, Miss Wright.
Yes, Megan.
Can you help me with this? I don't get it.
Yes, stay after school today and I will help you with your assignment. Okay, so what exactly is your project about?
Okay, well, it's about animal behavior.
Okay, well, in animal behavior, there's two main categories. There's innate behaviors and there's learned behaviors. Now, learned behaviors, for instance, are behaviors that an animal doesn't really need to be taught how to do. For instance, when a turtle hatches from its shell, its mom doesn't have to teach it to crawl out to the ocean. The turtle just knows that it needs to do that. So another type of innate behavior is the fixed action pattern. And this is a sequence of behaviors that an animal instinctively has, and usually they're carried to completion once a certain stimulus triggers it. For example, when a goose sees an egg, it's her natural instinct to lean her neck forward and roll it under her belly. And even if you take that egg away from the mother goose, when they're in the process of doing that, they'll still act as though they're rolling the egg because they have to finish that behavior.
Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you.
Hello?
Reichel? Hey. So, you know I'm at outdoor school and stuff, and so I have a question for you as my biology teacher. So I've came across a couple of these baby ducks, and now they're following me and my 6th graders, and I don't know what to do. What's going on? Help.
Okay, thank you for asking, Sarah. That's actually a really good question. Okay,
Reichel?
so imprinting is really an interesting example of an innate behavior. There are some aspects of learning as well, but it's basically just when an animal literally imprints on its mother, learns who it is, follows it around for safety, comfort, etc., etc.
So part of this project is I have to talk about directed movements, and I'm not really sure what those are. Can you help me out?
Sure. So there's 3 main types. There's taxis, kinesis, and migration. Going back to our pillbug lab, do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that was the lab that Thor flew the pillbugs across from. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So in the pillbug lab, we were measuring that organism's kinesis. And kinesis is a change in an organism's general movement in response to a stimulus.
Oh, okay.
All right, so what do you remember happening during the pillbug lab?
So I remember that the pillbugs liked the wet side over the dry side, and in the wet side they didn't move as much, they just kind of stayed where they were.
Exactly, and that's an example of kinesis. The bugs change their movement based on the environment around them.
Okay.
So taxis, which is another type of directed movement, is slightly different from kinesis. In taxis, an organism is moving either directly toward or directly away from some sort of stimulus.
Oh, so that's like when salmon swim upstream because they know the prey is going to swim downstream. Okay.
Exactly. So let's move on now to animal learning. So animals make use of several types of learning, perhaps the most well-known being habituation.
Oh, so that's when one organism gets used to a stimulus, right?
Exactly, and they do this because if they had an extreme reaction to every single stimulus, it just wastes too much energy.
Oh yeah.
So another type of learning is spatial learning, and this is when an animal uses some type of landmark to navigate where it is in the world.
Oh, is that like when the stray cat called Midnight keeps coming back to her house because they know there's food there?
Exactly. The cat associated that particular landmark with a food source. That's spatial learning.
Cool.
So for your project, one type of learning you are definitely going to want to talk about is associative learning.
I've never heard of that before.
So the first type of associative learning is classical conditioning, and this is basically just when an organism associates a stimulus with either a reward or a behavior. Think of dogs, for instance, how you can say fetch and all of a sudden they know that they need to go run and get that ball and come back. That's an example of classical conditioning.
Okay.
So the second type of associative learning is operant conditioning. This is basically just trial and error.
Oh, so that was like when I was in the 3rd grade and I touched the hot stove and then I never went around a stove again.
Exactly. If you're not smart enough to realize that stove's going to burn you and you touch it and it does burn you, that's a perfect example of operant conditioning. Hello?
Hey, Reichel. So I kind of found a bear, baby bear, and now Mama Bear's kind of mad. Why is she so mad? Why is she so mad?
What's up with Sarah?
I guess she's getting chased by a bear or something? I don't know. But that does bring up a really good topic you should definitely talk about in your presentation.
What are you talking about?
Well, basically, whenever we're describing animal behavior, we look at proximate causes and ultimate causes.
What's a proximate cause?
A proximate cause is the immediate stimulus and behavior that we're seeing in an animal. So, for instance, Sarah walked by Mama Bear, and that was a stimulus for Mama Bear to lose her crap on Sarah.
Okay, well, rest in peace, Sarah.
Yeah, pretty much. But we don't just look at the proximate cause, we think about the overall picture, and that's the ultimate cause. What's the evolutionary reason behind Mama Bear wanting to eat Sarah?
Oh, so the more the mama bear is doing to protect the cubs, the longer the cubs live. Okay.
Exactly, so that would be the ultimate reason that this behavior shows up in Mama Bears.
Oh, okay, cool. Should we do anything about Sarah?
I mean, everyone kind of knows you don't mess with Mama Bear, so no. Yep. So do you have any more questions about animal behavior?
No, but do you?
This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow, pirate so brave on the 7 seas.
What?
A mystical quest.
Hey, Reichel. Hey, I just wanted to let you know, that I'm in a tree. I'm safe. You didn't ask, but I thought you should know. Yeah.